What up, sports fans? The Texans have done it. We pulled off the impossible. It shocked the world, baby. We beat New England in New England. Now we headed off to the AFC Championship game, baby. Cue up the gospel music. Let's get it. No, I'm not crazy. I just 100% believe in the multiverse, parallel universe theory that states every possible version of every possible event will happen in a different universe somewhere. So I'm choosing to live in a universe where the Texans won. Also in that universe, Trump is not our president. It's a better place. So unfortunately, in this observable universe, the Texans took that L, 34-16. But that final score was not indicative of how the game actually went. Now, if someone was to wake up the next morning and they didn't watch the game and they just saw the final score, I'm sure they'd be like, well, yeah, this looks like how it was supposed to go. But we were actually serving up the recipe to pull the upset, which was keyed in on my last video, 3 keys for the Texans to win against the Patriots, except maybe key 1 and key 2, possibly key 3. But anyway, our defense played lights out, man. Our defense played amazing, forcing 2 Brady interceptions, which is unheard of. The man only threw 2 picks the entire season in the 12 games that he played, and our special teams forced a turnover. We were doing everything. These were the breaks. These were the first turnovers that we needed in order to pull the upset, but we couldn't capitalize. Will Fuller dropped a perfectly thrown touchdown pass that would have tied up the game and got us back into it. You dropped it. It's not often that Brock throws perfectly thrown touchdown passes, so thank you for that, Will. Now, after that, Brock was like, oh, you ain't gonna catch it? Well, shit, I'm gonna just throw it to somebody that will. And he threw it to 3 Patriots players after that. Man, and the shitty Brock play basically ended the game for us. Now, the aftermath of the loss, somebody got to take the blame, somebody got to be the scapegoat. That ended up being George Godsey. George Godsey ended up being the scapegoat. He got to get out of there. But I don't understand. How are we not putting blame on Bill O'Brien as well for the offense being shitty? Him along with Brock and Godsey, I'm sure somewhere in there, got to be to blame. I mean, he started taking over the play calling duties. Some of this blame got to be put on Bill O'Brien, and he's already came out and said he's not going to hire another offensive coordinator, which I think is a mistake. This is the time to get a new, fresh offensive mind in there to get some shit rolling, man, and stop being the dumpster fire that we are on offense. We did happen to manage to get some exclusive, heartbreaking footage of George Godsey being forced out of the Texans facility. Let's check that out.
Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me besides Flipper here? This is embarrassing.
You take Brock. Brock, you need to volunteer. Go with this nigga. Go wherever he is going. Just get away from us. Man, I want Brock to be a pallbearer at my funeral so he can let me down one more time. You know, fuck that. I don't want Brock at my funeral. This nigga probably gonna be the cause of death anyway. I don't want him nowhere near my funeral, bro. Enough of the Texans. We had 3 other divisional playoff games go down last weekend we want to get into. One of the games in which no one is talking about, gets no media love, this Atlanta and Seahawks game. Atlanta handled their business. Atlanta is going on to the NFC Championship game. They were there in 2012, but before that, they had been there since 2004 when this nigga, the fucking human video game, the Michael Vick experience, was doing his thing. And do y'all remember this game? He was unstoppable. I think he had like a 99 speed rating. If you picked Atlanta as your team to play with, you knew you was just going to get a heavy dose of Michael Vick. And I used to bug the shit out of my opponents. Because Michael Vick would have fucking 500 rushing yards in the game. I don't even know why they even had receivers. You didn't know none of the receivers' names. They were just on the field to block. You know, like, you pick a play. Didn't matter what you picked. Mike Vick was going to step back and just take off running. But for this game, the biggest story wasn't even on the field. Our first Savage Award of the week is going to go to Future. Future went out and bought his baby, Future, I don't know why the fuck they named this kid Future, but they did. Future went out and bought this kid an Atlanta Falcons jersey, and now this kid is stomping around the Russell Wilson household flossing this Atlanta Falcons jersey all up in his face. Straight savage. A little bit of pettiness, but savage. W, sir. Our other divisional playoff game we're going to get into was the Pittsburgh versus Kansas City game, where we witnessed a kicking exhibition by Chris Boswell. They only scored 18 points, 18-16, the final score of that game. And just like the Atlanta game, the biggest story of that game didn't come on the field. It was actually off the field after the game, where Antonio Brown put on one of the creepiest and weirdest Facebook Live videos after the game, where most of his time was spent creepily smiling at the camera, like some other people that I know. And the rest of the time was spent thanking his apparent phone buddy, God. Now look, there's nothing wrong with thanking God. Of course, you want to give thanks to the man up above. But what's up with this hotline bling, call God stuff? Like, y'all let me know, what am I missing on this one? Like, and if you were to call God, what are you saying to him? Hey, God? Yes, Antonio. You up? But our last and final divisional playoff game that we had from this weekend was the Cowboys versus the Packers. And the Cowboys lost. Oh, thank you, God. Cue back up the gospel music. Man, I love it. The Cowboys losing is almost as good as the Texans win. I love seeing the Cowboys go down. So does me and a lot of other Americans. And so does Jared Cook, who's seen here doing his best Michael Jackson impression on the sideline, which was pretty much the play of the game to line up Mason Crosby with the game-winning field goal that he hit not once, but twice to break the hearts of Cowboy fans around the nation. So thank you, Mason Crosby. Thank you, Jared Cook. And thank you to the man, Aaron Rodgers, right now. So who do we think is going to the Super Bowl? Man, oh man. We got some really good games coming up this weekend. I mean, Pittsburgh versus Patriots. Man, Pittsburgh has one of the most high-powered, balanced offenses in the league, which, of course, was not shown off in this past game. But, man, if Le'Veon Bell can get going, not only in the rushing attack, but in the passing game, it's going to be hard to stop them boys. And from the way that the Patriots looked this past weekend against the Texans, if Pittsburgh can try to replicate the way we put that D on Brady, just caught myself saying D on Brady. If they can replicate our defense against Brady, they might have a chance to win this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Now, this Packers and Falcons game, I think this game has the potential to end up being one of the most highest-scoring games in NFL playoff history. Y'all remember I said this shit, man. We got two defenses that really ain't stopping people too well. So I think it's gonna be a shootout. Who do I think is gonna end up in the Super Bowl? I actually think it's gonna be Pittsburgh versus Green Bay. Like I say, that offense for Pittsburgh, I think they just won't be able to be stopped by New England's defense. And Aaron Rodgers is just one of the hottest people on the planet right now. I mean, football-wise. He's kind of cute, but football-wise, he's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. I think he keeps it rolling. I think, like he said, he was going to run the table. I think he actually might. So, mark my words, I think we're going to see a Pittsburgh versus Green Bay Super Bowl. So, that's what's up. That's what I think. Those are my predictions. Y'all hit me up. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Who's going to end up being in the Super Bowl. And that's how we're going to wrap up the show this week. Please be sure to tune in next week, where I'm sure I'll have to broadcast the show in Russian. But everyone's welcome. Y'all hit me up. Y'all tune in. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for tuning in. Always. Peace and love. Peace.